Okay, I want to talk about the zero product property. And the zero product property basically zero product property, let's try that again, basically says that if you have two things multiplied together equal to 0, then one of them is 0. So if A times B equals 0, then either A is 0 or B is 0. So, for example, maybe I have, let me make that a little bit bigger and easier to see. And let me get rid of that line there. And so basically, that's too big. Let's find a happy medium here. I'll bet we could do that. Okay, so let's say I have something like this. X plus 2, and then times 3x minus 5 equals 0. Okay? All you do is you draw a couple arrows, and you just set each piece equal to 0. So I have this. And then here I subtract 2 and I get x equal negative 2. Now here I'll actually work it out for you because there is a two-step equation involved and I don't want you to mess it up, so I'll help you. So I add 5 to both sides. I get 3x equals 5. Divide by 3. I get x equals 5/3. Okay? So that's one example of the zero product property. One thing that we will do with this later on, because it doesn't matter what A and B are, but one thing we'll do is once we start factoring, so maybe I'll take this and factor it, and right now I'll just write down the factors for you. Later on we'll remind ourselves how to get these factors in another section, but let me just factor this for you. Now I can solve this. And so you just do it like before. Now I'm going to skip some steps this time and get x equal negative 2 and x equal negative 1. Okay? So there's a couple examples of zero product property. Zero product property works no matter what. No matter what. No matter what the two things are. Okay, let's just get rid of this. I'm trying to get rid of these little writing thingies, and I'm not doing a good job. Okay, so it doesn't matter what these things are multiplied together. As long as they equal 0, you can use the zero product property. For example, later on when we get to pre-calculus B, you might have something like this in front of you. And well, actually, let's change that. I remember one of the specific problems. It was, got rid of too much there. Okay, so here's one of the specific problems that you might see later on. Actually, that would be a 3, and that would be a 2. And this equals 0. And you're probably saying to yourself, what are all these symbols? I don't understand what any of this stuff means. This is sin? What does that mean? Actually, it's sine, and this is theta. And you'll learn what that is later. But this is something you're going to see in pre-calc B, and it's just the zero product property. We'll teach you how to solve things like this. One thing you have to be careful of when using the zero product property, please make sure that what you have is actually equal to 0. For example, I see stuff like this all the time. Let's say, 5x equals negative 4, okay? And what people will do is they'll say, I'm going to factor an x out of here and get this, and then that means that if I have two things multiplied together, either x equals negative 4 or x plus 5 equals negative 4. Well, to that I say, because that doesn't work. You can't do that because this is called the let's get rid of that. This is called the zero product property. It's not called the negative 4 product property. In fact, it's not ever going to be true, or very rarely is anything like that going to be true. You know, if I have A times B equals 6, for instance, you can't say that either A equals 6 or B equals 6. Maybe one of them's 2 and one of them's 3, right? So this is the zero product property, and it doesn't work if you don't have a 0 on the right-hand side. So please make sure that whatever is being multiplied really does equal 0. Because if you use it and you don't have a 0 on the right, you might get a 0 on your paper, and you wouldn't like that. So, and I wouldn't either. So make sure you remember it's called zero product property for a very good reason. Thanks.